How's it going, guys, and welcome to the video. In this video, we're going to cover how to run scalable Facebook ads or meta ads for e-commerce brands. And this is going to be a 5-step playbook showing you step-by-step exactly what we do and how to think about an e-commerce business more holistically to go about scaling with ads, right? You have to have a lot of things in place prior to actually, just wanting to scale ads. It's about all of the foundational back-end work that really goes into your business before you can actually get an ad to scale. So we're going to cover all that today so you can take this and apply this to your own brand or maybe brands that you're working with. Now, if you're new around here, my name is Blake Bauer, and I'm the co-founder at a digital advertising agency called Jetstream Digital, and we help grow and scale brands in the e-learning and e-commerce space to $1 million ARR is our specialty. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'll leave some links down below where you can find more information about that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the video and let me show you this playbook. All right, guys, here we are. So how to run scalable Facebook ads for e-commerce stores, right? This is a simplified 5-step playbook, and each step is just as important as the next. And like I said, it hits on a lot of foundational stuff that you need to get right in your business, right, before you can expect your ads to work or convert at all, right? And there obviously is best practices with the actual advertising strategies themselves, but the most important part is your business foundations and, setting up your business properly and then understanding, how ads work and how to scale them, right? So first of all, who am I? Why am I qualified to be talking about this, right? So spent over $5 million on ads collectively. I've had a pretty long standing career in digital marketing and specifically advertising, right? And so I started my career starting 7 of my own dropshipping companies and brands, so I started out kind of learning the SEO side and then the paid acquisition side and just learned a ton through that experience, right? And so I struggled to scale my own brands, right, due to the complexities of business and also just the product offerings themselves with dropshipping obviously aren't the best, right? And so operations, hiring, finances, custom packaging, SEO, email marketing, right? There's all these different pieces that have to come together. And so getting that, all in place is just as important, but, getting just the ads to work is only one, piece of the puzzle, right? And so I decided to take my expertise because I fell in love really with digital advertising and apply that to different businesses through freelancing and my own agency, right? And so I helped scale 7 and 8-figure brands like Alacrity Academy, Ripple Yoga Wear, Zyro, Martello, Kachava. You might have heard of some of these brands, right? And so I've taken almost every advertising course as well under the sun, including founder How to Run Facebook Ads by Nick Shackelford, Iman Gadji's courses, Kai Bax's courses, Sam Ovens, Alex Becker, Jordan Welsh, Scott Hilsey, to name a few. Been through a ton of training and then also just YouTube content as well, right? I'm in the mix. So I also run a 6-figure advertising agency called Jetstream Digital, right? So know my stuff, and that's what I'm going to share with you today, right? And so these are just some of the examples of that, right? So why haven't your ads scaled or worked in the past, right? So there's 3 different reasons why it might not have scaled in the past, right? So you have a business problem, you have a funnel problem, or you have an ad problem. And those are in order of importance, and those are in descending order in terms of how easy they are to solve. So ad problem is easiest to solve, funnel problem is the second easiest to solve, business problem is the hardest to solve, but is the most important, right? And so these are the 3 reasons, right? Now, what's a business problem that you might not, that might be causing you to not be able to scale your business properly, right? So nobody wants your thing, right? It's hard to dress up a piece of poo or whatever, right? Put lipstick on a pig, right? It's very difficult to get somebody to buy something if the market just doesn't want it. So having that product market fit, I'm sure you've heard of that term, is very, very important. However, how you position that product is also very, very important. And so you can still position something that's maybe not necessarily the most viral product ever, but you can still position it with clever marketing as something that creates a lot of demand to a specific customer. And so we'll get into how to do that. But having poor margins, right? So having a break-even ROAS of a 2 or higher, right? So you need to have a lot of cash in runway in order to fuel profit, right? In order to reinvest your return from your ads at the cheapest rate possible, right? And so having a 50% profit margin would mean your break-even ROAS is a 2. So for every dollar you spend after your cost of goods sold, you need to get a 2 ROAS in order to just break even, right? And so getting a 2 is pretty difficult. And so having a business margin of 80% or higher on your front-end product, front-end offer is the most important thing. And so figuring that out is also important, right? So you need to have a good profit margin and you need to have that front-end product, and then having no LTV, right? And so in some cases, having LTV isn't as important if you can make your front-end product and offer amazing. and priced properly. However, having LTV, right, and knowing that you can lose some money up front, LTV meaning lifetime value, knowing that you can lose some money up front because you know you're going to be getting a certain multiplier on your money, 2, 3, 5x from each customer. In terms of a lifetime value, that gives you a lot of more margin and confidence to play around with as well. So it's all about knowing your numbers at that stage. So that's a business problem, right? Now, funnel problem is nobody's converting, right? So when people visit your website, they're not adding to cart at a good rate. Nobody's reaching the checkout and nobody's ultimately purchasing, right? So you want to aim for a 3% or higher on your conversion rate, and you want to be aiming for 10% or higher add to cart rates. 8% is still really good, but somewhere, in that high kind of range, closer to 10%, and then should be similar in terms of your add to cart to checkout rate, right? Now, another problem with your funnel is you're not focusing on one product and one core offer. Extremely important, right? And if you ever read the book, Ready, Fire, Aim, to get to 7 figures, even 8 figures, you just need one product, and then you can start to reinvest that into developing other products that, are related or very similar to your flagship winning product and starting to test other things. But you just need to go all in on one particular product that you guys specialize in, that has a good demand, that you can build a lot of assets around and really build your business around. Very, very important, right? And another thing is not showing social proof, right? No benefits, right? You don't have a compelling enough offer in how it's bundled in pricing and using scarcity and different marketing tactics in your funnel to get that conversion rate, right? And also, you have no remarketing efforts. So that's another big one, right? Having SMS and email, right? Again, helps you with that overall conversion rate and helps you, get this break-even ROAS, above profit, because you need to have all the things working in your favor in order for your ads to work, not just your ads. You need to have, other ways to capture, upsell, capture more money, and increase conversion rates, right? Now, lastly, we have the ad problem, right? And so typically you're going to see a few things, right? But overall, it's just due to a poor ad quality. And so the biggest indicator of that in terms of a leading indicator is CTR. And then you can also look at your quality rankings on Facebook ads, right? So if you actually look at the ad itself, you can see conversion, quality, and engagement rate ranking, right? And so if those are of average, below average, right, you're not going to be seeing great results. And so the CTR is probably the biggest thing to look at. And that's click-through rates on your ads, right? And so for every 100 people, if only 1% click, and that's about average, right, you're going to be spending quite a bit and competing with the masses, right? If you can get that click-through rate up to a 3, 4, even 5%, that means you're going to be paying 5 times less per click because your ad is doing really well. Facebook notices that the customers on their platform are really enjoying and liking your ad and clicking on it, so they want to give you more traffic. You're going to be getting 5 times as much and a 5 times better ROAS overall, and a 5 times higher cost per click as well. All right, so this is how the math breaks down, right? And this is literally pulled right from Eman's kind of course and training right here, and I completely agree. This is what you should be looking at, right? So you can see how the metrics break down, right? An average ad of 1% CTR with a $12 CPM and about a $1.2 cost per click is about, what do you typically see as kind of averaging, right? And you have an average conversion rate, 1%, right? And so your results are X, probably not great. It's probably very difficult to scale that. Your ROAS is probably like 0.8, 1, 1.2, something kind of, mid like that, right? But if you get that CTR, again, by increasing your ad quality, by making it more relevant to your target customer, your ICP, right? You get a 3% CTR. Now, what you'll notice is because your ad quality is much, much higher, you're getting 3 times as many people to click. And at the same time, Facebook wants to favor your ad more. So it reduces your CPM in half. Again, these are estimates, but this is what you would see in your ad account. And so that would result in, again, instead of a $1.2 cost per click, now what you have is 3 times as many clicks and half the CPM. So you're seeing twice as many people with 3 times as many people clicking. So, so you divide 1.2 in half, 60 cents, and then 3 times as many people are clicking, so $0.20 CPC, right? And then you get your conversion rate a little bit higher, so 12x return. Like, this is how you scale right here, right? This is exactly how you scale. Get this CTR higher, get your ad quality higher, right? And then you can figure out the conversion, the funnel metrics in the back end. Now, if you're getting a really good CTR like this, but nobody's converting, work on the conversion rate, right? But this is the biggest thing to focus on, right? CTR. And then again, CPM. You can't control CPM, but you can control CTR by increasing the ad quality. So let's look at the playbook now, right? Knowing all of that back-end information, right? What is step 1? Step 1 is to find your offer, audience, and pricing, right? This is that business foundations that we were talking about here, right? So the offer. This is your business's flagship front-end product slash bundle. And you might need to test around, play around with this a little bit, but what you should be doing is looking at the market, doing some market research, figuring out what is that flagship product, what is that 80%, if you're already doing revenue, what is that 80% of your revenue coming from? That's only 20% of your product lines, right? Focus on that as the front end. Figure out if you can bundle something and get customers in the door, for an offer that is just a no-brainer, that's just an amazing deal, right? And you can make some LTV off of that, right? So think about that and define that, right? And again, ideally, this front-end offer needs to have high margins or a high back-end LTV margins, right? So lifetime value, considering that, right, is very popular to your target market and is easily marketable, right, to our target market as well. Right, so examples of that would be some like a beeswax wrap, right? It's a yoga jumpsuit. These are products I worked with in the past, right? And they did very well. Audience, right? Define your demographics, right? It's better to define, age and gender and interests ahead of time before you actually get into the ad account. So you start off on a good foot, right? So if you're targeting just women, for example, figure that out. I wouldn't say this is super, super important though, because you can let Facebook tell you who your ideal customer is, but start to have an idea for who your persona is and how to speak to them so that you can write better ads. And we'll get into that. Now, pricing, again, your break-even ROAS is ideally below 1.5. Again, you need a large amount of fuel profit to compete and scale ad spend. So that's why you need to be 1.5. The lower, the better. Right? If you have a 90% profit margin, right, you're going to be doing well because you have so much margin to scale with, and you can afford to have a low ROAS at really large scale, right, if you're doing well with your ads, right? Again, bundle and upsell if you need to increase that AOV to get that ROAS even higher, right? Now, next is pick the platform, right? So once you know who your target market is, you need to target them on platforms where they are, right? Now, top D2C e-commerce platforms, right, are still Meta and Google Ads, right? So this is obviously a Meta guide, and don't worry about, TikTok and all these other platforms, right? TikTok is definitely the best for organic growth, but as far as ad growth and scaling, right, Meta is still the best as far as new demand generation, and Google is the best for demand capture, excluding YouTube. YouTube is also really great for demand generation, but requires a different skill set and some really good video content there. But so focus on Meta, right? And for large budgets, right, a blended approach is good, where you can still use all platforms and look at these like expansion platforms where you're getting, you're kind of capped out in Meta, and so you want to, expand on new platforms. That's 100% an option that you can do, right? Now for small budgets, use either Meta or TikTok plus Google, or just Meta and Google, right? Again, I recommend just Meta and Google. If you already have a TikTok presence, I would say use Google, right? So Meta, demand capture, awareness; Google, demand generation, Meta, demand generation; Google, demand capture, right? For sales, if your product is already getting a lot of search volume, you can potentially jump in there and bid and get conversions for a cheap cost. So let's go to step 3. Define your avatars and angles. Again, this is all foundational work that you need to do before actually touching anything in the ad account. This is what makes the difference, right? This can be defined as your USPs or your unique selling points and should appeal to different people based on who finds value in your product for different reasons, right? And so research and define clear angles for your product to test, right? So an example of Kachava, they have some different ICPs that they actually use internally. And you probably actually, when you think about it, it just makes sense. People buy products for different reasons. Kachava is a food supplement, meal replacement product. And so some people value the convenience, right? And so they're the convenience seekers, the easy. That's the biggest angle that appeals to them, right? Some are peak performers. I would put myself in this category. I really, look at how is this going to affect my focus and my energy overall so I can perform at a high level? And what is the protein levels, because I go to the gym a lot, right? What is the protein levels? Is this sufficient nutrition for me, right? And the convenience is a secondary benefit that I care about less. Right. And another one is driven to lose weight, right? So if people are wanting to lose weight, it's filling, right, is the biggest kind of thing, and it's nutritious, right? Those are another angle that you can use, right? All natural, plant-based, right? Image and long-term well-being. These are some other angles that they define, right? So define those avatars and angles. What are the people who would buy your product, and what are the main reasons? Try to get a couple of different ones for your product. Maybe you only have one or two, but you should still have a clear idea of what those benefits are that somebody would buy your product. Now, step 4, develop your creatives and ad copy, right? So taking what we have here, right? We have our flagship offer. We have our avatars and our angles, right? We know what platform we're going to use on Meta, okay? Now, how do we create those creatives, right? So for the creative side, you're wanting to sell the click, not the product, right? So people try to sell the entire product in that ad. All you're trying to do is sell that click and get this high CTR so people want to learn more, they want to engage, and it doesn't even look like an ad. It's just something that's cool people want to check out, right? So sell the click and just try to get people to click, and then the landing page does the selling about the product, right? So you should feature your product and should have some type of wow factor, right? That stands out from the newsfeed and stops that scroll, right? You've probably heard that term before, right? And that would mean it's eye-catching, right? So it's different than the rest of the platform. It has a bright color, right? It's high contrast, bright colors, and it shows people, right? Typically UGC and people, get people to stop as well on those platforms. So that works too, right? So you can see, some of this, like that's going to get you to stop, right? Especially like for some men, right? 66% of guys lose their hair by age 35. A nice shocking fact, right? You have Glossier, right? Who has an influencer here. It's a UGC piece of content. You have Felix Gray, high contrast, really bright image that's going to get you to stop. And then just a quote here, which is good. And then another one right here, personalized daily vitamin packs, right? And again, another review here, which is great. Using reviews is probably the best thing you do. And we'll get into that in just the copy section in a moment here, right? So again, how do you actually create these, really good ads, right? You can hire an influencer or a team of influencers, and I would do that commission based so that they can actually produce you creatives and a lot of things to test. You can use AI, right? So let me plug this in here. Use AI to develop creatives, right? So you have Midjourney, right? You have vidIQ. If you have, video. If you have video content, you have Opus Pro. So Opus. And then, ChatGPT as well. You can do some stuff with that. So that's another option. And then you can also create it yourself. So founder-led content, if you're strapped for cash, and just in general, I honestly recommend just using yourself as your product best and get your face out there, right? Or you can hire a team to produce content full-time. Again, I'll do that commission-based, or you can hire somebody full-time for that. So that's developing creatives. And then another thing here is just researching competitors. Research competitors in your space. Use the Facebook ad library, right? And look up, what your competitors are doing. Use the Google ad library and look up what they're doing on YouTube, right? And so there's literally like endless content there, and you can just see what are the best performers, and also just do a Google search, right? On top Facebook ad creatives 2023, top Facebook ad creatives for, right, insert your niche, right? And that'll give you a ton of ideas as well. And that's the biggest lever you can pull in the ad account is the creative now. It's not the targeting, it's not the copywriting, right? It's going to be the creative. Now, next is the copy. Another important thing to note, right? Pull from your clearly defined angles, and each of these should be very different. And this still applies to the creative as well, is you want to tailor those creatives as much as you can to a specific angle. And a lot of the time, your customers will give you feedback on what are the angles that they want most, right? So if you already have some customers, do a customer interview. Speak with 5, speak with 10, speak with 20. Ask them why they love the product, right? Get them to send you UGC content and use their reviews, testimonials as, other customers speaking to potential new customers on why they should buy. They're going to be your number one sellers and cheerleaders. And that's why you see so many like reviews from different things, UGC, right? It's the reason why people buy a lot of the times these days, right? Is they want to know why other people buy. They read the reviews, they care, right? Now, use testimonials, like I said, is another big one. Literally, you can just copy and paste a short testimonial, that'll work, right? Use AI to write a bunch of ad copy, right? So Chat GPT. You also have copy.ai, right? So some other tools there, and you can spin out a bunch of ad copy, right? So Google ad copy templates /styles, and then plug those into the AI platforms to give you really good copy, right? So lots of different things you can do there. For copywriting, you can spin out so many different variations. So honestly, ad copy should have no problem generating a ton of things there. And then you can just split test that with different headlines, different copy, and see what's going to work, right? Ultimately, the creative is going to do the most heavy lifting as far as the CTR goes, though, right? And so next, the goal, right, is to speak to your customers as if you know them like a best friend, like you're whispering in their ear, right? Call out your audience, identify their problems, right? Call out your audience, who they're speaking to, so they actually know, oh, this person, this ad is for me, right? This video is for me, right? Identify their problems, right? Those burning problems or those problems in the back of their mind that they know they want solved, right? And position your product as the best or only solution to that problem and back that up with some case studies, right? And I'll add just a note there. Back up with case studies / testimonials / reviews, right? And then a call to action, right? So i.e. click or learn more, right, is the call to action there. And so pretty simple there, right? And again, this is the biggest thing to keep in mind here. This CTRs, this is how you're going to scale your ads. Increase that ad quality by making it very relevant to a target audience and solving their problems. Now, step 5 is the media buying. Again, least important, but still is important to know these things because, it does make a difference, right? And so targeting, first of all, for your prospecting campaign, I would break it down, or for your campaign structure, I'd break it down into 2 campaigns, right? You have your campaign 1, prospecting, campaign 2, remarketing, right? Keep it simple, and you want to test a whole bunch of different ad sets at $20 a day to $250 a day, right? So nowadays, what we do is actually a ACB, or advanced campaign budget, ACB. Right, so with your advanced campaign budget, we would just set up an advanced campaign budget with about $250 a day in terms of budget, right? And you can go higher than that, but that's a good number to start at. Or if you're doing ad set optimization, about $20 a day per ad set is kind of the minimum you want to go there, right? And you can go do a couple different things. So broad, no interest is good. Just if your product is really mass market, just saying, hey, Facebook, go find my audience, and it will find your audience if you set it up for conversion optimization, right? Which is pretty standard practice. Set up for conversion optimizations, all of your campaigns. Go broad, no targeting. You can test different interests based on your products, right? So just the most obvious stuff, right? So insert niche. So to get more ideas on interest to target, look at your top performers and just use the Facebook function to get suggestions for what else to target, and that should be fine, right? Now, again, in this prospecting campaign, what you want to do is conversion optimization, sales, okay, pixel events, purchase, okay, and then set all this other stuff up, right? Get some interest, look at the top performers, get suggestions, and then you can start to test lookalikes as well. Purchase 1 to 10%, add to cards, view contents, etc. Okay, and then you also have your remarketing here, right? So ad set 1, just make this also very, very simple, right? IG engagers 90, website visitors 180, and you would also do Facebook engagers 90 as well, and just kind of do a broad interest there unless you're scaling, and then you can start to break it down, do all those complexities, but really this setup is going to be totally fine right now. Ad set 2, you can do hot, right, engagers, add to carts, initiate checkouts, and just put an offer, something like that in there, like 15% off, 10% off, right? Pretty simple there, right? So do offers for hot leads, okay? No exclusion, just leave it. And campaign 3 is your scaling campaign. So using this as a testing campaign, and I would say prospecting V1, right? So you would continue to do this and launch new creatives around certain angles, right? Angle-based, right? So build angles in your first campaign here and launch those ads, right? Either ABO or CBO, and test that, right? And see what the response rate is, right? If that doesn't work, what you then do is launch a new campaign. All right, so then you would go campaign 3. Let's go prospecting V2, right? New angle to test, right? And then you do the same thing, launch that new angle, right? Test that, see if it's working, and if it's not, right? Now, if you get something that's working, okay, so now you have your prospecting V2 campaign, right? So you're testing things, you're seeing if it's working, right? And let's say this campaign is now doing even better. You've learned from your first campaign iterations, and you're continuing to improve and optimize, testing new creative, testing new ad copy, testing the market overall in your target locations, right? And let's say this one now is getting a 3 ROAS, right? It's doing well, right? And you have a couple of different ad sets that are doing well and that are, producing well, right? What you want to do is evaluate that, and then you can start to look at scaling that by duplicating and creating a new campaign based off of your top winners that are producing you a overall profit. So you want to continue to test until you get something that's working well, and then once you get something that's working very well, you want to go about scaling. Leave those winners on, in that campaign. Don't really, adjust or play with it too much, but duplicate that and create a new scaling campaign. Duplicated based on winners, right? So again, taking your top, and best performing creatives and ad set targeting and creatives, and just scaling those budgets, right? And so that's pretty much the media buying. As far as overall scaling goes, right? Your very, very best creative and very best copy, and 2 to 4 audiences paired together, and we would do a structure similar to this, and just chuck everything into one campaign in a CBO or an ACB, right? Ad campaign and scale, right? So it look like this: CBO, have your top 5 audiences. Let's say you're in a dynamic creative with your top creatives and your top copywriting and headlines, right? And then you're essentially launching that and scaling this, right? And scale the budget, right? And it's literally that simple, right? Again, this isn't the biggest thing that drives the needle, is the media buying. It's really, again, this foundational stuff, right? Understanding your customers, understanding how your product is positioned, getting your business metrics and everything right, and then having good creative and copy to test. And then only then, once you get to this stage, then you worry about the media buying strategy and really taking things to the next level. So that's it, right? Summary. If you take action on these steps, right, you can easily 2x, 3x, and even beyond, right, and create 10x sales volume while still staying profitable, right, and really growing your business that 7-figure rate or even 8 figures, right? So define your offer and pricing model, pick that platform, right? Again, Meta, define your avatar, develop ad creatives and write the ad copy, and then execute on the media buying, right? Now, I hope you found this valuable. If you did, what I'd recommend is we do offer free growth consultations for anybody that's looking to grow and scale their e-commerce brand past 15K. If you're already at 15K to 7 figures ARR and beyond. So I recommend you just to book in a call if that's interest. You can find some links in the description. So there you go, guys. I hope you found that valuable, and now you're having a better idea of how to create scalable Facebook ads for any e-commerce brand, e-learning brand, anything related to online transactions, right? So this is that 5-step playbook again. Hopefully you found that valuable. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, leave me a comment letting me know what you thought, and hit that subscribe button as well. Thanks so much, and I'll catch you in the next one.